World of Tanks Blitz is going in a downward spiral, and I would say a very, very fast downward spiral. If you've ever seen a plane stall, it goes up, 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 and then it can't gain any more lift, and it starts falling in an uncontrollable speed that it can't gain any momentum with until it crashes into the ground. And that's kind of how I see Blitz right now. World of Tanks Blitz is choosing a very, very poor decision on how they are developing their game, and I'm going to explain why that is in today's video. Let's start off with a very simple fact. World of Tanks Blitz is a competitive game. The whole point of pub battles is to showcase your skills, outsmart your opponents, and use your advanced knowledge of tanks to position where your vehicle goes. Well, obviously you're not going to put an IS-7 where a Leopard 1 goes, and vice versa. If people would argue that this is not a competitive game, then why are there statistics that you can look at everybody's account and win rate that pops up right when you look at a player? World of Tanks Blitz is in fact a competitive game, and this is where the problem sets in. For a game that's advertised as competitive, Wargaming sure does a great job at making it as non-competitive as possible. Let's start off with a very easy example. Wargaming is currently working on adding a quote-unquote ranking system into the game, and this ranking system isn't going to rank or rate anybody on their skill. It's basically, if you play a lot of games in this tank, you're going to get a higher rank. It doesn't have to do anything with average damage or win rate or marks of excellence like on World of Tanks PC. Basically what Wargaming is doing here is catering to their worst players to say, hey, you're actually decent at the game, which is a problem in my opinion. Players that are new to the game shouldn't be trying to get into tier 10. Wargaming has, for example, the Battle Pass, and the Battle Pass gives you not only ×5 boosters every month, not only gives you a lot of other credit boosters, but it also gives you tank research certificates. When I first started playing this game on my original account, it took me over 5,000 battles just to get to tier 9. Now granted, I did grind 2 separate tanks at the same time, so I have an ST1 and an E75 on that account, but still, 5,000 battles, and I still don't have a tier 10 on my original account. When you take a look nowadays, I was able to grind my Kron on my free-to-play account in less than 300 battles. Think about the difference there. Now sure, I wasn't great at the game, and I did very well on my free-to-play account, but the issue is that with the Battle Pass, you can get so many rewards. Even free-to-play, you can get a 25% research certificate, another 25, and if you do this for 3 months without even barely playing the game, easily you can get 75% off a tier 10, tier 9, tier 8, and tier 7. I don't understand it. I really don't. The problem is, Wargaming makes this game so easy for newer players to grind up and get right in the tier 10 that it's not the player's fault, it's just that people want to get tier 10. I remember myself wanting to get a tier 10. And you couldn't buy XP unless you played a premium, but you had to play that premium to get enough XP to then get the tier 10. You couldn't buy tier 10s at that time. They didn't exist. Well, now we've got the Chieftain Mark 6, the T-22 Medium, we've got the 121B, the Concept 1B, the VK90, AMXMF, I mean, it just goes on forever. There's so many tier 10s you can buy, which is another adding factor. Now, I don't really see the purchasing of tier 10s to be too bad. I just think personally, it's the problem of there's so many players now that are able to skip right up to tier 10, understanding really little about the game. But it's 100% on Wargaming, because they don't want their players to get better, it seems like. I honestly think that Wargaming wants their majority player base to stay not good at the game, so that they can sell more tanks in crates and advertise them as the best vehicle that'll increase their win rate. Look at the Smasher and the Annihilator sales. Why do you think they're the most sold vehicles? It's because people are sold this false advertisement that they can instantly be better at the game without actually learning how to be good at the game. In real life, as an example, that would be basically like buying your way through college. That would be like, oh look, I want to become a doctor, let me just buy my medical degree. Don't need to actually study and learn about that stupid anatomy and surgery. Who cares about that? I'm just going to be a neurosurgeon. Ha ha ha. That's really the equivalence I see here. It's just people buying things because they think it's going to instantly make them good without learning anything about the game. Another big problem, the matchmaker. Not only does it do a terrible job just lining up a medium against a medium and giving a heavy against a heavy, because half the time it gives one team 3 mediums, the other team 1, but it's not even worth it to go into the matchmaker, what I would do to it. I've got like 6 videos on the channel, and all of them, I believe, have perfect advice to what Wargaming could do in different ways to make the game better, and instead they decide to ignore the community's advice. So what has World of Tanks Blitz become? I'm a very competitive player, and I honestly just don't even get mad when my teams are bad anymore. I just get depressed. I don't want to play this game half the time because when I play, I get so sad watching a player just YOLO over Mines Hill and die instantly. I just don't want to play the game anymore. For example, today alone, I went 26 battles in my IS-7 with a 57% win rate, averaging 3,980 damage. I mean, that really says everything you need to know there. I still spot 2 tanks on average every game, doing the best I can, and I had a W&8 of 4,800. So it's not like I'm not doing my job, definitely am. It's just, that's just how teams are. And I don't even get mad at the losses because it's just over and over and over again. It doesn't matter what you do. I don't think I had a single loss today that was under 3,000 damage. That was in any way one of my big mistakes, and yet still just taking L's left, right, and centered. So this is the problem with Wargaming, is that they are driving away all of their good players. Already, I've seen the NA comp size shrink massively. Joker isn't playing this season. Rain is done. And I bet you that within the next couple of years, we're going to see a lot of the other top clans in NA and all the other servers maybe start to fade away because a lot of these good players are going to start moving on. And the newer players that are supposed to be really good at this game, I honestly just don't think they're going to care to get good at this game. That's really the problem with Blitz. It's turning into a game like walking war robots. So yeah, I think that Blitz is in a downward spiral. I think the comp scene is really going to start to shrivel up. I think that the influx of bad players and the decrease of good players is going to make this game really just a free-for-all and no longer a competitive battlefield out there. But I really think that's what Wargaming is trying to create. With this new ranking system, they're clearly trying to baby their bad players into thinking that they're actually decent at the game. They obviously make overpowered tanks and try to advertise them to also make bad players enticed to buy them. It's just a really bad cycle, in my opinion. I don't like to make videos like this. I mean, Wargaming always acts like YouTubers are against them. We're not. I mean, I've played this game for 8 years. I've probably dropped over 10 grand on the game. In fact, probably more if I'm going to be honest. And I enjoy the game. It's just that it's so much less enjoyable now than it has been even in the previous years. Wargaming has done such little regulation on the matchmaker or really anything else. There's toxicity in the game, really bad racism. I mean, just a day or two ago, Wargaming had to limit how many characters you could type in chat due to people spamming a new hack that stopped people from being able to move. Game is not in a great spot, in my opinion. I think it's in the best spot ever for what Wargaming is trying to do with these balance changes and everything, but instead of doing the balance changes, how about you listen to your community and actually fix some of the underwhelming problems that are very big. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. This is something that needed to be talked about because it is a serious problem. I mean, Blitz, in my opinion, will definitely die, not as a game. I think that Blitz will continue to grow, but in the aspect of bad players. I think that the comp scene in this game is going to shrivel away. I think that the good players in this game are going to become much harder and rarer to find because they're just not going to want to play this game. I mean, why play Blitz when you can actually play another competitive game like, I don't know, PUBG, or you can play a game like CSGO where you can actually play ranked and you don't have to wait 20 minutes in each battle queue. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think, but this is something that needed to be talked about. I'm probably the only YouTuber who has enough balls to talk about it, but it needs to be talked about. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.